Jordan Sheridan live, not from my parents' kitchen, from a undisclosed room in Long Island, in my parents' home. Just so you know, I am basically stitched up. I am basically stitched up right now. My glasses have broken. So the frame is broken and the lens keep popping out. So we're going to have to go get new glasses, which is going to cost me a little bit, but hopefully they don't break during this live stream. I had a very, very, very good time watching photojournalist slash reporter Tommy Tahifi Bayless. Give it up for the man. Tommy Tahifi Bayless was live from a rainy Los Angeles a couple hours ago during the Los Angeles teacher strike, day 3 of the Los Angeles teacher strike. We've seen strikes in West Virginia. We've seen strikes in Oklahoma. New Jersey actually had some teacher strikes, and now we're seeing them in Los Angeles. So he went live from the west side of LA. He actually was going to go live again, but he went to 2 other locations, which were kind of didn't have a lot going on. So he'll be back live for you from the strikes Friday. So 2 days from now, where Friday is supposed to be another busy day. And by the way, I mean, the man is working overnight. So he works overnight on the documentary we're producing, or he's producing, on Flint and what we found in Flint, and then goes to do interviews on the teacher strikes. So he's working night and day. So thank you to Ty. That video is already up on the channel. Michael Cooper, €2 in the super chat. Thank you very much. Hit that like button, folks. You know you want to. You're doing my job for me, Michael. Thank you so much for the free advertising, Michael, and the €2. And, you know, what the hell is going on in the UK? You know, the people voted for Brexit, but the oligarchs and the aristocracy, they are delaying Brexit. It sounds like United States when the voters pass ballot measures, and then guess what? The legislature overturns the voter-passed ballot measures. So you guys got to get your shit together. Ooh! Demonetized. Excuse me. Demonetized within 2 minutes. Tommy Tahifi Bayless, thank you again, and he'll be live again Friday. We want to get him on air more, but he's working on this documentary. So we'll see what happens. You know the drill. You got a checklist. Smash the like button. Unfortunately, you know, it's like YouTube is very moody. Some weeks it's not so they don't suppress us as bad, and then some weeks it's like reporting into a cave. So this week it's like reporting into a cave. Unfortunately, we're very suppressed this week. So we're almost at 26,000 subscribers, yet you see 62 people watching live. It's a mix of people not getting notifications, people actually getting unsubscribed from the channel, even though they didn't. You know what they're doing. So please press the like button. If you don't like me, do it for Ty. If you do like me, like you back. But the more people that press the like button, the more people that see the live stream. So we got 61 people watching right now and only 40 likes. So that's 20 people asleep at the switch. You know who you are. Let's get that like button up. You can become a Status Coup member, which Ty going out in the field and us going out in the field across America really depends on you. So we'll remind you of our membership offerings in a little bit. Right now we're at 124 paid monthly members through our website. So we want to get that number up to at least 165 by the end of January. So we got half the month left to get that number up. Follow us at Status Coup. Thanks to Jimmy Dore sharing Ty Live. We got his live stream on Status Coup over 2,000 views already. So, you know, sharing is caring. And the more people that follow us at Status Coup, the more people that will see us there on Periscope and on YouTube. We want to be everywhere and cover everything. Subscribe to our podcast, bit.ly/Status Coup Podcast. And you can go to the Evil Empire, facebook.com/Status Coup. Like us there. So, Ty was covering the teacher's strike, which I think is a great representation of the progressive energy and the populist energy that's spreading all across this country. People are fed up, and they're seeing, wow, when you actually organize, wow, when you come together and protest against the oligarchy that's essentially telling you, you know, eat your broccoli, be happy what you get. This is basically the United Corporations of America. Eat your broccoli, don't ask for more, be happy that you're getting fed at all. Well, people are sick of it. People are sick of it from the east to the west, the Rust Belt, the South. It doesn't matter. So, of course, now that you're seeing more of this populist energy, whether it be through the Bernie Sanders movement, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Justice Democrats, Democratic Socialists of America, you name it. Oh, the old guard, the Democratic establishment, they are not happy. And I generally don't keep up on what former Senator Harry Reid is saying, but I found this interesting that Harry Reid, you know, we know Hillary Clinton is now a retired, hopefully she stays retired, progressive who gets things done, of course. But Harry Reid, who was the Senate Majority Leader for quite some time, was a real power broker in Nevada politics, was very, very good at keeping crumbs coming to you, the proletariat. Oh, as a reminder, this is a super chat, so I didn't see a lot of people feeling so super when Ty was live. So I hope you're feeling a little bit more super here. And of course, we are pushing our GoFundMe. Our goal is $45,000 at the end of January. Right now, we are at, let's see, $38,276, brought to you by 636 wonderful people. So I hope you guys can sprinkle us with some love today. We'll be live, of course, Sunday for the marathon Super Duper Chat / GoFundMe live stream. But we really are trying to grow that. Ty and I are already talking about the next place we want to go, thanks to your generous support. But we also raised the GoFundMe goal, of course, because we have a campaign to cover. And right now, if I'm keeping it real, we don't have the funding to cover a campaign. It costs a lot of money. So if you want to see actual independent media out there, not, you know, certain outlets that claim to be, but definitely, you know the drill. GoFundMe link, we'll put it in the super chat. And, of course, check out statuscoup.com/join for membership. Now, Harry Reid, in all seriousness, I think he's been struggling with cancer and all that. So we definitely wish him well on that front. But Harry Reid, after a poll came out that showed 59% of Americans want to raise taxes as high as 70% on the super wealthy. Oh, Harry Reid, he don't like it. Former Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid took a shot at Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's proposal for a 70% marginal tax rate on the rich, saying Democrats should avoid trying to push, quote, radical change on the American voters. Who are these American voters that don't want radical change, Harry? Ocasio-Cortez, a Democratic socialist from New York, recently suggested that America's wealthy should pay, quote, their fair share, a 70% marginal tax rate, in order to pay for her sweeping economic and energy reform plan called the Green New Deal. And if we're keeping it real, no offense to new Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, but she didn't exactly invent the Green New Deal. I think that's getting lost in the conversation. The Green New Deal is actually from the Green Party. And actually, I was educated. It wasn't even the Green Party. It was actually some socialist group that came up with the Green New Deal. So she definitely deserves credit for getting it onto the national scene. But let's not pretend the Green New Deal was like hatched, you know, from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. The Green New Deal originally came from the Green Party. But I digress. So Harry Reid, in his retirement, he's not happy. Mr. Reid said voters won't go for it. Quote, a person could say we need to raise taxes a little bit, the Democrat told the Nevada Independent in an interview published Sunday. Again, when you talk about 70% and all that, we have to be careful because the American people are very conservative in that sense of not wanting radical change quickly. It just doesn't work. Quote, I think the message has to be we're a country that is good, that's always been good, he said, right? You know, this is kind of like Hillary Clinton. America's always been great. For who? For wealthy white people? For Wall Street bankers? For fossil fuel executives? For Silicon Valley? For Big Pharma? For real estate executives? Certainly not for black people. Definitely not brown people. Certainly not indigenous people. Certainly not the growingly disappearing middle class, Harry. Who are you talking about? And I think that we have to do is make sure we do a better job. So I want to give, in fairness to Harry Reid, in fairness to my friend Harry, Dirty Harry, thank you, $5 in the super chat, MT Unit. The Prophet Unarmed, Trotsky, 1921 to 1929. The Prophet Ahmed, Trotsky, 1879 to 1921. The Prophet Outcast, Trotsky, 1929 to 1940. Isaac Deutscher, author. You giving me some reading suggestions or a Bible verse? Let me know. But thank you for the $5. So, it's interesting because, you know, Harry Reid, I know that he had an eye problem, and I'm not mocking the man. I know he had an eye problem. As you could see, his glasses are a little blurry. I'm not mocking him. I'm just saying I know he had an eye problem. I think he had cancer too, so obviously we wish him well in that regard. But because of his eye problem, my assumption is Harry doesn't have a newspaper to read lately. Because these American voters who don't want, they're very conservative. Well, apparently 59% of American voters support Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's radical proposal to raise the marginal tax rate to 70, the highest rate at 70%. Quote, I don't think it's surprising, said Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. What we see overall is that the vast majority of Americans know that income inequality is one of the biggest issues of our time. Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez sparked a flood of hysterical and error-filled responses from the right when she suggested in a recent 60 Minutes interview that America's top marginal tax rate should be hiked to 70% to help pay for bold progressive programs. But a survey published on Tuesday found that the majority of Americans are on the freshman congresswoman's side. Conducted by The Hill in partnership with the market research firm Harris X, the poll found that 59% of the U.S. public supports raising the marginal tax rate on the richest Americans to 70%. The poll also found, quote, a surprising amount of support for the proposal among Republicans, with 45% backing the idea along with 71% of Democrats. Wait a minute. Hold the phone. 45% of Republicans supported a marginal tax rate cap, the highest rate to be moved to 70%. But wait a minute. I thought Harry Reid said, where are we, Harry? Where'd you go, Harry? Harry Reid told me, again, when you talk about 70% and all that, we have to be careful because the American people are very conservative in the sense of not wanting radical change quickly. You know what Harry's thinking right now, folks? This is what Harry's thinking right now.
Harry, help me get out! I got him. Harry, help me get out! I got him.
One more time.
Harry, help me get out! I got him.
I know. It's not right. It's not fair. I'm being mean to Harry Reid, and it's not right to do so. He's an elder statesman of the Democratic Party, and I should not mock him. You know, he's just confused at the progress being made in America. And by the way, Home Alone 2, apparently, Home Alone 2 is coming out this year, so I'm very excited. Macaulay Culkin, you know, he's been in the witness protection program, so I'm very, very excited. But do you know who I think isn't ready for that radical change that Harry... Don't get a copyright strike, I hope you're right. Oops. I think that's fair use. Yeah, that's fair use. So, you know, I think it's interesting, who is Harry Reid talking about? Who is Harry Reid talking about? And by the way, folks, you know, I don't want to beg you, but we got 108 people watching, but only 64 likes. So, are you guys, is your thumb sore? Is your thumb sore? Can you, oh, Home Alone 2 came out 20 years ago? Hey, Ty, I think a new Home Alone is coming out, is what I meant. But thank you for correcting me. Now Ty's paying me back because I like to fuck with him when he's live. So I think a new Home Alone is coming out. I heard through the grapevine. So, let's get your thumbs working. The more people that press that like button, the more people that see the live stream. We want to report to the masses, folks. But you know who I think Harry Reid is talking about that are fairly conservative and don't want this quote-unquote radical change? I don't think he's actually talking about the American voters. You know who I think he's talking about? I think he's talking about his donors. Harry Reid, 1989 to 2018, top donors, $6 million from lawyers and law firms. And as I always tell you folks, this category is not lawyers representing the ACLU or, environmentalists or people without money. These are these are corporate lawyers. They work in finance. They work for lobbyists. They work in DC. These are the oligarchy's attorneys, law firms that fund big Democrats and Republicans. Got $6 million from them. He's in Nevada, so obviously he was bought off by the gambling industry at almost $2 million in his career. Soon to be, third is Wall Street. Wall Street loved them some dirty Harry Reid. 1.8. We'll round it to $1.9 million. Lobbyists, always friends of progress and change in America. 1.8 million. 1.7 from the real estate industry. Harry Reid received in his time of quote-unquote public service. And then we have health professionals, those low-paid health professionals. That would be the health industry, health insurance, medical device, that kind of thing, business services, whatever that means. Almost 1.1 million insurance. So you get the point of who Harry Reid was working for. What is that? Almost 20-year career. He retired, I believe, in 2016. So, sorry, Harry, but it's, hey, Edward, be nice. Be nice, Edward. We don't wish death on Harry Reid, okay? I wish death on neoliberalism. I wish death on oligarchy. I wish death on the cocktail crowd. I wish death on Russiagate. I do not wish death on a human being, okay? We don't want to be, so bad. However, I wish figurative death on Harry Reid's philosophy, on the Democratic Party's philosophy. Now you see MSNBC and NBC. They hired, super progressive, now ex-Senator Claire McCaskill. So she's joining the gang at NBC officially. This is the same NBC that just came out that NBC told its producers, do not call Congressman Steve King of Iowa. Do not call him racist. Don't use the word racist. So this is NBC, who just hired that fake progressive Claire McCaskill to basically do Democratic Party talking points. But what I think is really, really interesting here, and we talk a lot on this channel about Bernie Sanders and how he scares the living daylight out of the establishment. But now you see not only current lawmakers. I reported to you on Sunday, the whole Democratic Party is ticked off at Ocasio-Cortez. They're crying in their sleep. They're shaking in their boots because she's getting traction all over the place. I mean, frankly, if the woman goes to the bathroom, it's national news. And that's a great thing because she's saying the right things. Don't get me wrong, we don't care to know about the bathroom, but you get my point. However, they're scared. So not only is the current Congress and the Democratic Party establishment from Nancy Pelosi, Emmanuel Cleaver told her to sit down, learn your job. A lot of the Democratic establishment is telling her to sit down and learn your job. But now you have, they're pulling out the retirees from the canasta games and the senior citizen homes to say, hey now, this isn't how change happens. Listen to Harry Reid and Hillary Clinton and all these retirees. We know how change happens in America because we brought you so much change. Like the repeal of Glass-Steagall, per se. Like the crime bill that ushered in mass incarceration. Like welfare reform. Like deregulating the banks. Like the Iraq War. Like the Patriot Act. Oh, I could go on and on and on and on. This is the change we need. brought to you by Harry Reid. And don't get me wrong, I mean, it's not like Republicans are innocent angels. Republicans are just as bad, if not worse, in most areas. But this is the Democratic Party. Why should we give a flying fuck? Excuse my French. Why should we give a flying fuck what Harry Reid thinks? But I have to cover it. You might say, well, who cares what Harry Reid thinks? Because this shows the power of the progressive moment we're in. I know we all want results right now, but you also have to look for everyday, like, silent and not so silent victories. And when you have Harry Reid coming out of the woodwork, when you have Alan Greenspan, that dinosaur, husband of Andrea Mitchell, by the way, when you have Harry Reid, Andrea Mitchell, others have come out against Ocasio-Cortez's, Green New Deal, her 70%, which, by the way, none of these articles, because they're all kind of there for propaganda, none of them actually explained what she's specifically talking about. Ocasio-Cortez is not talking about taxing all of the income of the super rich at 70%. She's talking about taxing every dollar above 10 million at 70%. But they don't like to get into the details because that would be less scary. So Fox News, of course, is saying, oh, they're going to take all of it at 70%. Sean Hannity's hysterical. He's crying that, his money could be taken at 70%. Frankly, I don't even think Rachel Maddow would like that very much, that progressive darling. But they're all very, very worried because the truth is, contrary to what your neoliberal auntie told you or your Republican uncle, and of course, goes both ways. You could have a neoliberal uncle. You get the drill. But contrary to what they told you, the country's not center-right. It's not conservative. It's actually progressive. And what we're learning through the Occupy movement, what we're learning through the Bernie movement, what we're learning through, Ocasio-Cortez's and all these mini movements, Fight for 15, Green New Deal, Black Lives Matter, No DAPL, a lot of actual, gasp, traditionally more Republican people, they're actually for progressive policies. Do I have to remind you? Do I have to remind you, folks? This great tweet, courtesy of Warren Gunnels, who is a senior advisor to Bernie Sanders. 70% of the country want Medicare for all. Within that, 52% of Republicans want Medicare for all. 60% free public college tuition. They want it. This isn't all Democrats. This is the entirety. Democrats, Republicans, aliens. They all want. 60% want free public college. 58% want $15 minimum wage, which, by the way, Bernie Sanders just produced that bill out of the Senate today. 72% want to expand Social Security. 57% break up the big banks. 64% legalize the weed. 65% jobs guarantee. And I will add to this, 81% want a Green New Deal. And the new poll that shows 59% want taxes, the highest marginal tax rate, to go up to 70%. So that's not a conservative country, folks. That's not exactly a country screaming, oh my gosh, it's too radical. This is too much. We must, close our inhibitions. We must bow to these holy job creators. No. No. The majority of this country, from the east to the west, Rust Belt, the south, from the water to the farms, they want rich people to pay more. They actually want to end all of these fucking nonstop, never-ending wars. And they want a progressive tax system. And by the way, let's just call it what it is. When the majority of the country wants certain policies and the public figures, the public servants that they elected won't give it to them, what do you call that? You call that a kidnapping. You call that a heist. You call that a theft. You call that a hijacking of our democracy. Because we're not being represented. If we were being represented, here's how representation works. The people that you represent, they want this. They want X. And you, the representative, you come to them and you give them that. Of course, sometimes politicians might differ with their constituents, but we don't actually have a democracy. We don't have even a republic, because the majority, the mass majority, want progressive policies. However, we're constantly told by the oligarchy that has hijacked our government, bought off by Boeing, Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, did I say it right? Whatever. And Raytheon, and Goldman Sachs, and Exxon, and I could go on and on. We're told, hey, slow your roll. Change happens in little crumb bites, you know? Little crumbs. Sometimes you could dip it in olive oil, but change happens in crumbs. And, you know, the country's not ready for the radical change you're espousing. Edward, you're right. The establishment does want a dumbed-down society. But we're not. At this point, I think people like Ocasio-Cortez, Bernie, and the people on the ground are saying, I know, I keep getting it wrong. It's Northrop Grumman. Grumman. I'll practice that overnight. Okay. So, Harry, I'm sorry to tell you, Harry. I'm very sorry to tell you, but it's over for you, Harry. And it's almost over for the Democratic Party because the people are wising up to this. The people are wising up. And, you know, it's always interesting because the Harry Reids of the world, and of course, if CNN brought this up, you think CNN is going to be like, well, Harry, actually, you know, what you're saying doesn't really make sense because a new poll shows 59% of Americans actually support Ocasio-Cortez. How many times have you seen on CNN lately, or the New York Times, or any of these, you know, papers of record, or the worldwide leader in news? Do you really see these progressive polls shown to you often? Do you see polls that show progressive policies are overwhelmingly backed by the majority? No. You see polls that show you Joe Biden is leading the pack. You see Daily Kos straw polls, that progressive website showing you Bernie Sanders is in last place. He shouldn't even run. Chuck Todd actually represented the Daily Kos poll as a progressive poll. Ty, that's interesting that you asked what's up with my lighting. On one hand, one of the lights is out in this room, so I got to get that fixed. On the other end, I wish I had a photojournalist that lived in New York that could help me with things like lighting and sound and production and reporting and research. Do you know anyone, Ty? Do you know a photojournalist that could come to New York and help me with lighting and buffering and just a wonderful presentation? Because I've been looking for one, and somebody that we could go out and report in New York City, we could go out and report in New Jersey, we could go out and report on New England, we could go out and report in the Mid-Atlantic region. Do you know anyone, Ty? Let me know about that. Thanks. And because I dropped my glass, and there's a glare on my glasses, because I don't have somebody to deal with the lighting. Kelly Elaine, don't worry about it. We're digging your report. Kelly, I have been digging your continued GoFundMe donations. I keep seeing it pop up in my email, and I can't thank you enough. Which brings me to a reminder, folks. Please, if you like our reporting, if you want to see Ty and I in the field, hit it. GoFundMe, right there. Show us, baby. Show us. And we're at 150 viewers, but only 104 likes. So I need 50 of you to wake up and smell the coup. Like this live stream. Smash the like button. Smash it like it's Hillary Clinton telling you Medicare for all will never, ever, ever come to pass. Smash it like it's George W. Bush telling you mission accomplished. Smash it like it's Dick Cheney breathing. Smash it like it's Rachel Maddow hysterical over the Russian troll army coming for your dinner. Just smash the like button. Smash it, smash it, smash it. Smell the coup. I think that's a good tagline, actually. Although it could be misconstrued, so we'll work on that. Thank you. Now the likes are up. So before by the way, just so you know what we're dealing with, because you're not just dealing with Harry Reid and the old guard Democratic Party. You're not just dealing with the current Democratic Party, which, I mean, they're hysterical. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, shut your mouth, get in the back, and stop making noise. Stop threatening to primary, Democrats. You should be going after the Republicans, not your own. This is what they're saying. Bernie Sanders, stop existing, damn it. Not only do you have that. Henry, that's a funny one. Henry says, I'd like a GoFundMe to get Dick Cheney a one-way ticket to Afghanistan. I might agree with that. Not only do you have that, but the great Katie Halper, who always is finding fun stuff. Katie Halper found this gem on the Twitter. So if you're unfamiliar, there is a woman named Sally Albright. She's a Democratic Party operative. She actually has worked with Republicans too, but in this backward society we live in, she's, dubbed by many as, progressive. So Katie Halper found Sally Albright, who basically runs a network of bots who exist to take on Bernie Sanders, Nina Turner, Tulsi Gabbard, and all these people. Katie Halper collected some of her tweets recently. So here's Katie. Sally Albright gets paid to run a bot network. I hope she shares some of the money with the people she's outsourcing this work to help spread smears. It's pathetic that she can't even do her own job, but cool to trace their manufactured narratives. So let's take a look at some of that manufactured narrative. Crowdsourcing some research today. Oh, research. I'm looking things up, but if anyone has articles or threads on these topics, I'd be most appreciative. Video of Bernie telling Jane not to stand next to him, because obviously that's been long rumored. Hey, Jane, go stand in New Hampshire. Don't stand next to me here in Vermont. Video of Bernie on Ortega Castro. Anything about palling around with dictators. Yeah, palling around with dictators like Obama with the Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman, the King of Jordan. We don't like palling around with dictators. Fidel Castro has always been the American boogeyman. So that was one of them. Let's see. There's more. Why Medicare for All isn't actually single payer. That's interesting. Bernie insulting black people. Okay, so we're really looking for the highest, most prestigious information here. Bernie mathematically eliminated from the primary. I didn't realize you could actually be mathematically eliminated before any votes are taken, any elections are held, and the superdelegates have actually been diminished, we think. We'll have to look into that further because I don't quite buy it yet. But apparently there's a way that Bernie Sanders has already been mathematically eliminated before even announcing he's run for his run for president. She also wants video of Bernie snatching the microphone out of Congresswoman Etsy's hand at March for Our Lives. She wants video of the Parkland kids rejecting Bernie. And lastly, she wants convention shenanigans, especially the flyer for the meeting about not voting for Democrats. And she wants which primaries Bernie meddled in. So Katie Halper actually, this is how, essentially, this is kind of, I don't know if it's exactly correct the record, but this is kind of like their meetings that are supposed to be hidden out in the public. I don't know why she's putting all this out there in public, but this is how propaganda works. And let me explain more about this. No, we can't wish Sally death. Hey, would you guys stop wishing people death that you don't like? Jesus, how did I raise you? How did I raise you? We don't wish, listen, there's only a few people that I wish death on. I'm not going to name them here. I'm sure you would like to know some of those that I wish death on. But they deserve it, these people that I wish death on. But I don't wish some fakakta lady, my dearly departed grandma would used to say fakakta. I don't wish anyone death unless they've caused a lot of death onto others. Unless they've done me wrong very badly. But Tommy Taifi Bayless, why Jordan? Why don't I wish people death? Because I believe in something called karma. And I believe in something called kill them with kindness. And I believe that in the end, truth reigns supreme. Kissinger, I do wish death on. That's a good one. Yeah, Kissinger can go. So can Dick Cheney, if you ask me. Balthazar 228, thanks for the $5 in the super chat. That Instagram dentist appointment stunt was so stupid. I don't like what comes out of Beaton O'Rourke's mouth. Why would I want to stare into it? You're getting ahead of me. I was about to get to Mr. O'Rourke next, so stay with me. But thanks for the $5. Tommy, why are you contradicting yourself? Tommy, I'm not contradicting myself. I'm saying, overall, I don't think we should just agree. I don't think we should encourage death on people we disagree on. There's a few select people that I do think qualify for go fucking, get hit by a megabus. But the majority, I say, let's kill them with our ideas. let's not actually rule for death. But, you know, I say do what you want. But I don't encourage violence, and this is a journalistic coup d'etat. Only come with your microphone, video camera, and some righteous indignation. Tommy, I don't need your, backseat live streaming advice, okay? Thank you very much. Tommy is trying to troll me because I sent him nasty comments while he's live. So, anyway. This is how propaganda works, but the interesting thing about this is, let me show you. So, people like Sally Albright, they start the propaganda on Twitter, then they get a network of bots to push this nonsense, then it gets picked up by Democratic Party lawmakers who push this stuff, like, when did Bernie push a black person? I remember, Bernie actually, when Black Lives Matter activists interrupted one of his speeches, Bernie actually moved in the back and gave them the microphone, as opposed to Hillary Clinton, who you remember at her private fundraiser with some rich people, her security couldn't get that black woman out quick enough, who wanted to protest. So, this kind of propaganda starts on Twitter, then Democratic Party politicians pick it up, then Politico, NBC News pick it up, and before you know it, it's fact of these bullshit about Bernie. And it doesn't just work for Bernie. It works against Nina Turner, Tulsi Gabbard, Elizabeth Warren, you name it. It's worked against Jimmy Dore, me. This is how, like, the Jimmy Dores of the world in a CNN article are called, like, the alt-left, or whatever they called him. It's ridiculous. Andrew, only Russia is not allowed bots. It's true. And this is what I've always said. Don't get me wrong. Is it a good thing that Russia creates troll farms to, quote, affect our elections? No. It's not like I'm cheerleading for it, but, like, we do way worse domestically here with Correct the Record. The Pentagon and the Defense Department send out bots to influence public opinion. And we're so worried about, like, Russian Facebook pages? Give me a break. Give me a break. So, now that I got that out of the way, before we get to the next topic, I just want to remind you folks, just want to give you a friendly reminder of our new member contest. Our new member contest. So we're at 124 paid monthly members at statuscoup.com. You could go to statuscoup.com/join. Check out our options. We have as low as $5 a month to be a monthly member, $10 a month to be a monthly member. You'll see the options once you check it out at statuscoup.com/join. We have been pushing to hit that 165 number. Tell you the truth, I don't remember. Oh, because we were at like 60, so 100 more would have been 160. So we just said 165. But really, why we're pushing membership is, as great as GoFundMe is, and we're going to continue pushing that too, we need to grow long-term. And how we're going to do that is through recurring support from the audience. And we wanted to make it as affordable as possible. So think about what you might spend $5 on a day or $10 on a week. You get great bonus content, behind-the-scenes footage, bloopers from the upcoming documentary that's coming out, and future documentaries. We're doing a monthly video call, not a live chat, a video call, where you'll see me, Ty, Jen, maybe not all together all the time, and you'll be able to go on camera. We're also going to be doing cool things like interviews with you, the audience. We're going to try to do calls from the field when Ty and I are in the field with the audience. We're trying to do a whole lot to incentivize you to actually join us on a monthly basis with your wallet. Obviously, for people that are struggling to put food on the table, we totally get it. If you can't do it, but if people can fit this into your budget, you're getting a lot, but most importantly, you are supporting real independent media. We're not interested in going in the field to cover the grave threat of the Russian troll. We're not interested in going in the field and covering the grave threat of, the Russian hacking and Trump's tweets and all of the nonsense you see everywhere else. We're not interested. We are interested in getting out in the field and covering. I just did an interview this morning that we're going to air on Sunday. We want to cover the grave threat in Cleveland right now. Do you know that 17% of children in Cleveland have high lead levels? They just found this. 17% of children in Cleveland have high lead levels. We'd like to cover states like Oregon are now passing cap and trade bills to basically give giant wet kisses to the fossil fuel industry. Well, last time I checked, Portland's one of the most liberal progressive cities in America, yet Oregon is selling out its people to the fossil fuel company. We'd like to cover more economic oppression and police brutality against African Americans. Oh, black people, excuse me. Ty has rightly said not to call them African Americans. They're actually black people, because not all black people are from Africa. So thank you. We want to cover economic oppression. We want to cover the disappearing middle class, state and local level corruption. We want to cover a whole lot of things that you will never, ever see in the corporate media. And frankly, I don't see a lot of independent media covering these things. So we're doing that through you. So we've gotten a whole lot of people signing up the last few weeks. I think we've gone up. Oh, we were at 50 and now we're at 124. So that's about 75 new members. So definitely consider it as low as $5 a month, $10 a month, because this is how we're going to, on a consistent basis, be able to stay out in the field. Ty and I haven't been out in the field lately because Ty's been working full-time on getting our documentary ready, which, by the way, when you see this documentary, you are going to be proud to be a member. You are going to be proud to have donated to our GoFundMe. You will be proud to support us, because watching it, I am very proud to have Ty on the team. He's been working night and day on this. I sure as hell give him a lot of shit, but this is a real masterpiece, what he's been working on. And he's been coming up with really creative ideas for camera shots and graphics and special effects and all those things to tell a really important story, which is not just what we found, that the state of Michigan basically cooked the data in Flint to show lower lead levels when they were actually higher, but to actually show in the truest form that Flint is essentially one of the biggest environmental injustices, the biggest cases of, it's not even environmental racism, it's just racism, probably in American history, if you ask me. So I can't wait to release that. We're working on a few things to try and get it into tippy-top shape and see if other people, distributors or any film companies might be interested. So we'll work. David, hey, commies. Well, thank you. So, before I move on, remember, this is not charity. We are building a media revolution here, and we're going to do it with you. I'm not interested in taking meetings with big corporations. I'm not interested in taking meetings with big plutocrats. We're doing this the grassroots way through you. So if you want to give money to outlets that are covering Russia and Trump and bullshit 24/7, it's your money. Do what you want with it. If you want to give money to in the field, in the trenches reporting, we're your guys and gals. Thank you. So, speaking of good reporting, The Intercept actually just did a really great piece. I've asked the author to come on this Sunday, so we'll see if he's available. But The Intercept found that, the great white hope, Beto O'Rourke, apparently Beto O'Rourke back in his city council days wasn't a friend of collective bargaining for public sector unions. And this article is going to put me in the very awkward position of defending a police union. But in this case, I think Beto O'Rourke was completely wrong. So this is from The Intercept. I will put the article in the live chat if you want to read along here. Here we go. Okay, so years before he was a potential 2020 candidate, Beto O'Rourke was a city council member in El Paso and a leading voice in a high-profile battle with unions representing police and firefighters. At the height of the conflict, O'Rourke publicly mused about disbanding the police union, calling it out of control and lamenting his colleagues' unwillingness to stand up to the powerful political force. A year later, he was calling for, quote, better checks on collective bargaining in the public sector. The fight came at one of the bleakest moments of the Great Recession, and the city was stuck in contracts with the police and firefighters union that provided for annual raises and benefits. The city manager was proposing a 5% property tax increase and other hikes in fees to pay for them, but the city council wanted the unions to defer some of the wage increases and forfeit some of the holidays. The firemen and policemen's pension fund was in need of more money, which meant that they were open to negotiations. But O'Rourke was frustrated at how dug in he said they were. Police unions have increasingly found themselves in conflict with progressive Democrats in cities across the country and are notorious for defending even the worst officers on the force against charges of assault or murder. No better example or worse example than the Chicago Police Union, who actually defended Officer Jason Van Dyke, who shot 16, how old was he? a 17-year-old black man, Laquan McDonald, 16 times and then tried to cover it up, courtesy of Mayor Rahm Emanuel, who is leaving office soon. Chris Evans, O'Rourke's spokesperson, said that when he relayed the Intercept's inquiry to O'Rourke, O'Rourke's first memory of the fight was that police were demanding a provision that would give officers a 48-hour window after a police shooting before they would have to answer an investigator's questions. That provision is indeed in the contract. O'Rourke's remarks at the time, however, were focused on officer compensation and El Paso's stripped budget. O'Rourke, in public, took particular exception to some of the demands for the police union in the ongoing negotiations, including its continued insistence on maintaining the wage increase, which he said amounted to 8% each year. In an August 3rd, 2010 meeting, a seemingly exacerbated O'Rourke went so far as to ask the city's attorney if there was a way to eliminate the union altogether. In my opinion, this is from O'Rourke, in my opinion, the basic problem with this whole setup is you've got a very powerful police union, and that's been able to extract an unsustainable increase in salaries year over year and an unsustainable series of additional benefits, he said, following exchange over the city manager's proposal to create a second police academy. Quote, what are the provisions or opportunities for the voters of El Paso to go back to some other form of representation for the police officers? AKA, how do we get rid of the police union? Now, as I'm sure Ty, who's in the live chat, would tell you, I'm not, such a big booster of police power in this country. I think the police, frankly, have become a terrorist syndicate throughout the country. However, I'm a very big advocate of public sector unions. There is a reason that unions, whether the police unions, the firefighter unions, the teachers unions, you name it, there's freelancer unions, there's a whole lot of unions, and especially for public sector workers, getting contracts that give you per year percentage raises, per year benefits improvements, pension improvements is necessary, because without those safeguards, the oligarchy and the elected public servants, the nurses unions too, thank you, Victoria, they will basically sail you down the river quicker than you could swim. So having contracts in place that have a guaranteed yearly annual increase, benefit changes for improvement is important. So it's very concerning that, the next, to me, Barack Obama 2.0 is how they're billing Beto O'Rourke, a blank slate. It's kind of alarming that he basically, because in fairness, cities all across this country and, local municipalities were hit hard after the 2008 financial crash, which, by the way, Barack Obama didn't jail one banker, Ty's favorite person, Black Jesus. A lot of cities had to find money somewhere because a lot of cities were heavily, heavily invested in pension funds. And a lot of those pension funds went belly up during the financial crash because Wall Street went belly up during the financial crash, and Wall Street is heavily, heavily invested in pension funds, and cities, Detroit, for example, was heavily invested in pension funds, and Detroit lost hundreds of millions of dollars during the global financial crash. So, on one end, it's fair. You have to find, you gotta tighten your belt somewhere, but for a supposed progressive, to basically be saying, well, this police union's out of control, their demands, so let's just get rid of them. That's pretty alarming. You're not going to hear that from the Beto bros. Is that bad that I call them the Beto bros? You're not going to hear that from the Beto bros. You're not going to hear that from the Beto boosters. You're not going to hear that from the Beto bees. But John Doe, I agree. This is not an endorsement of the police. This is an endorsement of public sector unions and the right of collective bargaining. And by the way, that's one thing that we want to cover more. Trust me. Ty knows more than I do. And straight up, it's because he's black and I'm white. It's because he grew up getting, basically harassed by the police and worse. I did not. So we do want to go cover that. As Ty could tell you, we were the only national media on the ground covering the execution of 26-year-old black man Botham Jean. Thankfully, there's some justice. The officer was indicted for murder. She will see trial, hopefully this this year. So I'm not pro-police, but I'm anti trying to erase unions, especially public sector unions, because you don't like their demands. That's not a progressive position, if you know what I'm saying. So let's read a little bit more. And great work, by the way, by Walker Bragman. He found this for The Intercept. So O'Rourke, in public, took particular exception to some of the demands for the police union in the ongoing negotiations, including its continued insistence on maintaining the wage increases, which he said amounted to 8% each year. I find that very hard to believe. There's very few public sector workers that get an 8% increase each year, but I haven't looked into it close enough. In an August 3rd, 2010 meeting, a seemingly exacerbated O'Rourke went so far as to ask the city's attorney if there was a way to eliminate the union altogether. I'm having early onset dementia because I already read that to you. Here we go. The attorney said there was not a way, and following the meeting, O'Rourke called the police union out of control and questioned, quote, the need and wisdom of having it in the city at all. The police union, angry at demands from the city council that the police be furloughed, meaning their pay basically be delayed, responded by running an ad against O'Rourke and the city council. The battle with the unions is another window into the former congressperson's enigmatic politics. O'Rourke was a member of the centrist New Democratic Coalition while in Congress. I got to disagree with The Intercept there. The New Democratic Council, it's not centrist. It's right-wing. This is the New Democratic Coalition is kind of an offshoot of what was Bill Clinton and that 1980s thing? The Democratic Council that the Koch brothers funded? Audience, help me. I'm having a brain fart. What was Bill Clinton and the Koch brother funded council in the 1980s that was basically right-wing Democrats? The Democratic Leadership Council. Mike S. for the win. The Democratic Leadership Council. So this is basically just a continuation and an offshoot of the Democratic Leadership Council, brought to you by Bill and Hillary Clinton and funded, by the way, by the Koch brothers. That's why I love the audience, you know? Sometimes you need the audience to pick you up, including in the Super Chat, including in the GoFundMe, hint, hint. Sometimes you have a brain fart. You know, this ain't 60 Minutes here. We're all imperfect human beings. So, Beto was on the Democratic Leadership Council, and he's talked, which is right-wing. It ain't centrist. No, Trudy, you're wrong. This started in the 80s. The Democratic Leadership Council, but, you know, definitely continued in the 90s. You know how I know that, Trudy? Because I read Thomas Frank's great book, Listen Liberal, who always talked about this. What Zachary says, I think what Chomsky calls them moderate Republicans. I agree. Moderate Republicans. Republican lights, if you want to call that. Republican soy milk, you could call it. By the way, guys, I don't know if I told you this, but I'm very, very traumatized. I'm just digressing into a little personal matter. I found out this week that I'm lactose intolerant, and it has rocked my world to a core. Because I love Empanada Mama. So I order Empanada Mama probably twice a week. 2 cheese empanadas, 2 pizza empanadas, Brazilian empanada, and the Cuban empanada I like a lot. And this has a lot of cheese, if you're familiar with empanadas. I usually get a large iced coffee from Dunkin' Donuts in the morning, coconut flavor with milk. Can't do that anymore. I tried black coffee yesterday, but I'm not a big fan. Did you just toot or something? I don't know what toot means, but I don't think I did. So, lactose intolerant and you didn't know? Well, Michael, I've been having digestive issues for a long time. As Ty could tell you, I've been burping up all sorts of stuff while reporting all the time. And part of that problem, from what the gastroenterologist told me, is I'm lactose intolerant. So I'm having a hard time breaking down milk or dairy. So I'm trying to remove. Yeah, I had almond milk in my coffee today, and I got to tell you something, Sinead, wasn't impressed. Huh? Sinead, excuse me. Wasn't impressed. Look into goat milk? Ew. I don't know. Oh, I will. Balthazar, another $5 in the super chat. Did you hear how Miami-Dade County septic systems are overflowing due to flooding? Hashtag Debbie does ballots might finally have shit on her face, literally. Hey, let me tell you something. Balthazar, If you could find me video of Debbie Wasserman Schultz with fecal matter on her face, I'm not encouraging you to do anything to the Congresswoman. But if you happen to find video of Debbie Wasserman Schultz with any sort of fecal matter on her face, you will have a free lifetime membership to Status Quo with all sorts of bonus content.
We do not condone this.
We don't condone this, Jen told me. But I do like that picture, so thank you. Anyway, sorry, I'm digressing into my lactose, but it's been very, very worrisome and very, very, it's been traumatic because I eat a lot of dairy. And I know, I'm part of the problem. A lot of you have criticized me. How can you cover water contamination and climate change and eat meat? I'm trying to lessen the meat in my diet. I'm trying to be the change we want to see in the world and, walk the walk. Not just talk the walk, but walk the walk. But I'm not getting rid of empanadas, so I'm going to have to get some lactate pills. Hopefully those work. So, I digress. Back to this. So here's a video. Here's a video of Beto O'Rourke and his not-so-progressive talks.
I am a huge believer.
Hold on. When he was a city councilman in El Paso.
A believer to organize. And I still...
If I could share the screen.
And none of that has changed. I'll tell you, though, that there is a difference when you have collective bargaining in the public sector. The city council that I served on made a decision to bail out the police fire pension fund to the tune of $200 million. And it's true that the police and fire unions made some concessions on their end. But the taxpayer, all of us are on the line for that $200 million to meet our obligation to those members. I was deeply disappointed in especially the police unions' intransigence when we were in tough budget straits because we were in the depth of a national recession that was affecting El Paso. We didn't want to lay anybody off, and the police union had negotiated a contract for themselves that the city council, minus my vote and minus Steve Ortega's vote, had agreed to, that gave them guaranteed raises, merit raises, and step increases, and a very rich benefits program, while everyday El Pasoans that I represent and pay taxes and to pay their salaries were going broke and were going without jobs. I thought that was unfair. And so in that context, I felt like, and frankly I still have some problems with the power that the police and fire collective bargaining contracts have. But I want to reiterate, because it's an important issue, I believe in the right to organize. I think it's done wonderful things for this country. I do think there need to be better checks on collective bargaining in the public sector. I don't, by any stretch, want to do what Wisconsin's done, but I do want to make sure that the El Paso taxpayer is protected, and that's what I was trying to do. Okay.
So, if you were blindfolded listening to that, you could have, you might actually confuse him for Mitt Romney there. Now, again, I want to be very clear. This isn't about the police union, because I think the police are out of control pretty much all over the United States of America, which, by the way, is not a country, it's a corporation. As you always know I say, this is the United Corporations of America. So this isn't a defense of the police union. However, whether it's the police union, or the firefighters union, or the teachers union, or whatever, why should any of these unions have to take a pay cut because the oligarchs crash the economy? Why? Why should police or firefighter or nurses or whomever take a big pay cut because bankers crash the economy by breaking the law? Why shouldn't they pay? Why should, police or firefighters or nurses or whomever have to pay more into their pensions or for their health care because other people wreck the economy? Don't get me wrong. It's all about, public, the public coming together in times of trouble. But how come there's never any discussion? Hey, maybe we should cut the military budget, to offset the cost. Or maybe we should, raise taxes on the wealthy. It's always those public unions. They're a pain in the ass, those unions. Not, the Defense Department asking for $715 billion to go do military adventurism and kill innocent brown people all over the world. So, in this case, I don't know the police union in El Paso. They might very well have ridiculous demands, but I don't think public sector unions should have to lower their wages or give up an inch. Because you want to know something? If you give them an inch, they're going to take the whole damn field from you. That's how this works. Make no mistake about it. And when Beto O'Rourke, by the way, he went on, let me see, private sector. Here we go. He said in a Q&A, I'm a big believer in labor rights to collectively bargain in the private sector. The public sector is a completely different situation. From my experience these last 6 years on city council, I do not think it is in the community's best interest, certainly not in the taxpayers' best interest, to have collective bargaining by the police and firefighters. They are exceptional public servants. However, they are not so exceptional that they get to have these contracts and rights that no other city employee enjoy and which the taxpayer cannot continue to finance without the city going broke. Well, I think what Mr. O'Rourke is getting a little twisted here, these police people, these firefighters, they are taxpayers. They are in your community. So they're not like some foreign entity. Of course, they shouldn't have, 50% pay increases every year. But, it's the city council, it's the government that's negotiating with these councils. So if you negotiated a bad deal, if you negotiated a deal that gave them favorable wage increases or gave them favorable benefits or gave them favorable whatever, why is it exactly that when the economy goes belly up, they should be the ones to sacrifice? Are you cutting your salary, then Councilman Beto O'Rourke? I don't think so. Another $5. Balthazar, I love you. I met Beto in person in 2017. He lied to my face about why he wasn't co-sponsoring HR 676. I pay $868 a month for insurance. He could go off himself. I agree. Tommy, what am I conflating? I don't get it. What am I conflating? Tommy just likes to troll. So Beto O'Rourke, between the fundraisers with fossil fuel lobbyists, between dozens of donations from fossil fuel executives, between voting to deregulate Wall Street, between voting to offshore drill, between voting to lift the cap on exporting oil, he's got some explaining to do if he wants to claim he's a progressive, because he's not exactly like a capital P Bernie Sanders type progressive. He's more of a Barack Obama, let's give vague promises and not deliver anything actually progressive type of progressive. And we don't need any more of those. And by the way, I'm sorry, Balthazar, $868 a month for insurance is outrageous. Outrageous. So, without further ado, I'm about to surprise her, but Jen's going to come on and give you a little update on a new offering that Status Quo has. Jen, take it away.
Where are you going?
Right here.
My hair's all messed up.
Speak to the people.
Hi, everyone.
Whoa. Speak.
Hi, everyone. Oh, God.
You're good.
Well, I can't talk about it because I can't see it.
I'm putting it up. Speak.
Okay. So we have some very exciting new membership levels. So while I was away, Jordan kept bragging that more and more members were joining. Everyone was super excited. And I got jealous because membership pushing is my job. So anyway, we had a talk about what else we could offer. So we actually added 2 new categories, and one people have been asking for like crazy, and that is a yearly membership option. So you can join that one at $147 a year, which is a great savings overall. And The other level is $20 a month, Coup de Commanders. And forgive the graphics because I didn't give Colin any advance notice. So Colin will be making much better graphics, but these are placeholders for now. Yeah, there's some great perks. I have no idea what Jordan did to the screen because I can't. Okay, so there are some good perks. First of all, you have with the coup day commitment, and Jordan, of course, the king of coming up with the names, came up with these. So at this level, you save $93 per year, and you get bonus status coup swag. So those of you who have started getting your swag in the mail, you know how awesome it is, you know how exciting that is. So you get everything from all the other levels, plus swag, plus saving money, plus our undying love and devotion forever. Because we really, really can't wait to have yearly members. But for those who aren't ready for that big commitment, then we have the $20 a month. And you get, so this added bonus, you do get swag as well. And you also get an infield call from Jordan and Ty when they are in the field. So that's very exciting. That really keeps you on the forefront of what's going on. You know, maybe you'll hear about some news we've uncovered before anyone else.
And I'll make a point that you might serve as the mediators between me and Ty, because when Ty and I fight the most, it's usually in the field. So maybe if you get us at a moment where we're fighting very hard, you could play mediator in our private, for $20 members, Coup de Commanders. You'll play mediator, and we'll probably be telling you on those calls some secret behind the scenes. You know, for example, if we were on a call with them while we're in Flint, they would have learned what we found before anyone else.
Right. Yeah. So that kind of thing, especially, you know, when we are in Flint, every day we found something new. So you could have been part of that before anyone else. And that's, you know, what's going to be there in the future. And you guys know that conversations between Jordan and Ty are just in general very entertaining. So yeah, that's definitely a good perk. You also get a little bit of swag as well. And we obviously still have our main levels of $5 a month, $10 a month. A bunch of you have subscribed at those levels. You can upgrade, you know, if you're already a member and you want to move to yearly or the $20 a month level, whatever, you can move up. So this is very exciting, especially the yearly one. And as you can see, I popped it out so it stands out the most.
And I'll also say that Ty has been super, super busy on the documentary, but once that's over, we're going to be making a lot more members content for all levels.
Yeah. So that's going to be a huge part of it. Right now, we've been filling the site with great content and things like that for members. But the plan is to give you guys so much great content, so much great stuff that you'll be, you know, swimming in it for days.
And by the way, I'm not married to Coup de Commitment, so if any of you want to come up with a better name. But I will say
you didn't even, this is the old version.
Oh, we didn't come up with this, out of our behind. So there's been quite a lot of people asking Jen and I, how could we contribute more than $10 a month? So that's why we came up with the third level at $20 a month. And of course, most membership-based sites has a annual option in addition to monthly. So I will say also that this is a way for us to build up revenue so it's not as sporadic, us going in the field. So we have the incoming and incoming, but also consistent revenue that if Ty and I want to hit the field on a breaking story that no one else is covering, which is basically all of America is a breaking news story that no one else is covering, we have the monthly revenue already in. That doesn't mean we don't have to find other revenue, but this is a grassroots revolution. That's why we're pushing membership, GoFundMe, all those things. So
who do you think is going to be our first yearly member?
Boo Fire. Boofire.
I can't wait.
Boofire
it
for
will
sure.
be-
And Julie, who is Boofire, can tell you how good the swag is because we sent her a backpack.
I love Boofire.
Yeah, she's going to be the best. Tommy's talking about 83-inch turtlenecks. I don't know what he's talking about. Kimberly, should we tell Jordan he looks fine too when he goes live? Haha. Thank you. I appreciate that. I just showered for the first time in 2 days, so I hope I look good. And anyway.
Some jorts.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Ty, by the way, let me tell you something. Ty is one of the biggest fashion police out there because he really, really doesn't like the socks I wear, the jeans I wear, the hats I wear. He doesn't like anything I wear. So maybe Ty will come up with some swag ideas. But
oh, yeah, that'd be cool. Ty would be good at that.
So that's the deal with membership. We hope we're at 124 now. Our goal for the end of the month is 165. And if we hit that 165, we are going to have one lucky new member who's sending, we've asked all the audience to email Jordan at protonmail.com, email Jordan at protonmail.com, your story idea. We're going to pick the one we like the best and hit the road on that story idea. I got one great story idea from somebody, I don't remember your name, a new member, on the Navajo Nation and the problems facing Navajo Nation out west.
I've been there a lot.
Oh, so we might do that if we don't get a better idea. So keep it coming.
Status quo umbrellas. Yes.
Status quo umbrellas. Maybe status quo solar panels.
Yeah.
But that might be a little higher level.
It's high. Status quo Cadillac seat cover.
Do you want to be the model, Ty? Because Ty's done quite a lot of acting and modeling and other things. Oh, by the way, can you ask Ty, since he's in there, there's this program that we bought and we've had it for over a month. It's called Wirecast, and it allows Ty to actually come on screen with us.
That would be fun.
But, unfortunately, we haven't been able to use it. Could you ask Ty when we're going to be able to use that program?
I would love to. I know that Ty has been very busy with the documentary, Status Quo 99 Cent Store.
Yes.
Yeah, but we can't wait for that. Yeah, everyone keeps talking about status quo yellow vest. Is that still a thing?
I've already told you, it's not the yellow vest, it's the green vest. We want green vest because we're green against the greed and green for the planet.
Someone become an annual member to make me happy. I've had a real rough couple weeks, guys.
She has. And who's been helping you through that rough time?
Jordan.
Say it like you mean it.
Jordan has been absolutely wonderful in helping me through this very rough 2 weeks.
Right. But, as in life, we all have rough times, but the truth is, as the great Larry Sheridan once said, tough times don't last, tough people do.
I love it.
So.
That Larry is very smart.
Do you want to do the last segment, or should I?
Thank you. What's the last segment?
Kirsten Gillibrand
yes,
being a
my
fraud?
equilibrium. How did you even know, Victoria? My equilibrium is hella screwed up.
Yeah, and so is mine. You should see my stomach.
Status
quo gas mask? What do you think we're going? Into a sarin attack? Jesus. You want status quo gas mask? I'd like status quo socks to start, and we'll work our way up to gas mask. But
I like a hairbrush.
But I think green vest is much better because it's what are we against? Greed. And what are we for? The planet. So status quo green vest. Start the movement. Michael appreciates all you do. And in all joking, even though I grew the membership by 75 as Jen has been out, Jen set up the infrastructure for that. So it's a team effort here at the coup d'etat, the status quo.
Cool.
You want to do the final segment?
What's the final segment?
Kirsten Gillibrand. So.
Ty's funny today.
Kirsten Gillibrand, formerly.
Yes.
What?
Can that happen? No, probably not. Copyright stuff. I would love Captain Planet gear.
Okay. So hopefully somebody signs up for the first annual member. Here's a link one more time for those in the back. statusquo.com/join. And hopefully, as revenue goes up, we could also move Ty out here so we could set up a little better. You should see the setup right now. This computer is on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 books.
Yeah.
Propped up at my parents' house.
It's very precarious.
So, lastly, here is Kirsten Gillibrand running for president.
Next time you can let me brush my hair. How about that?
So, not expect to receive support from Wall Street this time around.
it's important for people to know my values are never for sale. And that's why I banned corporate PAC checks. It's why I'm not taking money from federal lobbyists. And it's why I don't think individuals should have super PACs.
Senator, sorry, I just want to follow up on what this gentleman was saying about Wall Street.
Yeah.
You say that you're running against corruption and special interests, and that your positions can't be bought. But if that's the case, special interests, and that your positions can't be bought. But if that's the case, how do you reconcile going to Wall Street to make sure that they're okay with the run? As reported.
Well, that's certainly not the case. That is not true. But you just have to look at the facts. I voted against the bailout twice. I am a co-sponsor of two co-sponsors for a bill to do a transaction tax. I believe that a Glass-Steagall makes sense, a new Glass-Steagall, and I am on a bill to support that. I supported Dodd-Frank. I mean, just look at the facts, look at my record. I always speak for what's right, regardless of who might be angry or disappointed or not agree.
So, is that true? Is Kirsten Gillibrand hoarding in money from Wall Street, but still voting against Wall Street? Jen, do you think it's true?
I mean, probably.
Probably?
Yes.
You think it's true? Oh, your equilibrium is off. So as I've already reported, Kirsten Gillibrand, who has taken, other than Chuck Schumer, the most money from Wall Street in the Senate, Kirsten Gillibrand voted against breaking up the big banks. Kirsten Gillibrand also voted to deregulate the big banks. She might have voted against the bailout, which wasn't exactly politically courageous to do, in my opinion. But when she had an opportunity, Sherrod Brown brought forth a bill to basically break up the big banks along with Bernie Sanders. Kirsten Gillibrand, no. Well, why would she do that? Because maybe in 2010, when she voted against breaking up the big banks, she was the number 2 as far as taking money from Wall Street in the first 3 months of 2010 before that bill came up. She also might not take corporate PAC money all of a sudden, but she certainly takes money from executives at Wall Street firms. And contrary to what she is saying, CNBC, Politico, and other places have reported that Kirsten Gillibrand, along with Cory Booker, along with Kamala Harris, has been dialing for dollars at Wall Street, basically getting their permission to run for president and seeing if Wall Street would back them. That doesn't sound super progressive to me.
Not progressive, no.
What are your thoughts on a Kirsten Gillibrand presidential run? Am I being sexist?
It's just a waste of everyone's time. She doesn't have it. She doesn't in any way, shape, or form. You know, her policies are weak. And she's her. There's nothing there. She's not going to make it far.
No there.
There's no there.
And thank you. We got Balthazar again. You're lighting us up today. $5 in the super chat.
Love Balthazar.
Kirsten Gillibrand's first call was very telling. She called Wall Street to determine her eligibility, not Main Street. Hashtag Bilderbrand Workshop. I like that. I'm going to use that. We got one from... Oh, I thought we got 2. But it was... Oh, Maddie Perry, $4.99 in the super chat. I've been wanting to join for a while. I almost joined TYT, but they kept going on about Russia crap.
Yeah.
I will be quiet on the TYT part, but I will not be quiet. Join us, Maddie. It will be the best investment you've ever made. It's going to be a huge 2019 for Status Quo. So thank you for the super chat, and we hope you join as a member.
Should I tell them why I'm not as bright as usual?
You could tell them whatever you want. It's up to you.
So, guys, just so you know, you guys know I'm not typically dumb. And right now, it's hard for me to put sentences together, and I'm sure you can tell that. So I've been getting ECT treatments, and I'm sure everyone has an opinion on that, but that's what it is. So hopefully my brain will start to work again, because right now it does not work.
You're doing fine.
Yeah. It's hard, though. So that's it. That's all. Definitely go to statusquo.com/join and see the new levels and join at the new levels. Lots of good stuff coming.
Can I take my throne back?
Yeah, it is shock therapy. I know, Edward.
Oh, Sinead, $2. Thank you.
Sinead.
Sinead. Can I take my seat back?
Thank you. They work, but awesome. Yeah, thank you guys. I know, it is, Edward, it's freaking nuts. That's for sure.
So, obviously, that's up to Jen what she wants to talk about. But I will say that I think in our society, everybody's got opinions. What do they say? Opinions are like assholes. Everybody has them. Everybody's got opinions, but I'll say that to me, mental health. I always say like enough with the mental health as far as the mass shootings. Ty said, "We love you, Jen." Enough about mental health with the mass shootings. Yes, mental health is a problem. Yes, we need to invest more resources in mental health, but mental health is not what's murdering school children. It's the guns. You can't murder, 20 kids in Newtown or 17 in Parkland with a knife or, a super soaker, if you know what I mean. But I think what Jen is talking about and what she's been going through, and by the way, just so you know, obviously it's her business and it's not for me to talk about, but the fact that I've been a little inconsistent going live and some days I haven't been live, those days I've been trying to help Jen with what she's dealing with. But I will say I've already been public about this, but I in 2015 was hospitalized for severe depression. I was just in a bad way, and I had severe depression, anxiety. I was hospitalized for 2 weeks. Everybody's path is different. For me, medication really made a big difference once they found the right medication, and it really is telling, because once my mental health, and I'm lucky that I had insurance. Not everybody has insurance, and that's how I got the help that I needed. And after I got balanced and regulated for my situation, that's actually when I got the job with the Young Turks. So mental health, we need to stop stigmatizing it, because it's a real thing, and it's as real as physical problems. Like I've told you, but I've also told friends, if you have diabetes, you might, depending on the type, you might need insulin.
Right.
So if you have severe depression or anxiety or whatever, it's no different than a physical illness.
Microdosing with shrooms, that sounds fun.
Everybody's Boofire meds work for me as well, luckily. So
well, I wanted to say, because someone said, like, Jordan, take care of Jen. To be honest, Jordan visited me in the hospital like every day. I completely lost my mind after the ECT, and I've been staying here on Long Island with him and his parents, and he's helped in every single way possible. So he's a very, very good friend, a very good person, and I can't thank him enough.
Don't ruin my street cred. There's a lot of people who have made their careers on calling me an evil egomaniac. Yes, so if I haven't seemed always prepared, it's because a lot over the last few weeks, between visiting her, which is an hour actually from my parents' house. I've been showing up to live stream before I go live. I've been showing up back at my house sometimes 15 to 20 minutes before I go live. Not because I'm not working hard, but because the transportation to go visit Jen. Ty, while we're having a powerful moment, is saying I also have bad breath. So that's interesting. I won't tell people what you have, Ty. But yeah, I think that, listen, the bottom line is this: we're all human. Everybody's got a different childhood story. Everybody has a different family story. Everybody has different chemicals going around in their brain, and everybody has a different opinion on what can help for certain things. But the bottom line is, Jen, for me, Jen was there at my worst. When I was smeared all over the internet and basically I was even added to lists with Harvey Weinstein, which was really still just stunning to me, because it wasn't true, but that's just not the type of person I am. And Jen took a lot of heat and was very courageous in standing up for me at a time when it really wasn't such a easy thing to stand up for men who might be falsely smeared. So, I'm doing my part. And most importantly, the media revolution, obviously forget status quo. I just want what's best for Jen. But more importantly, we can't do this without Jen, because really, Jen, I mean, maybe part of your mental health has been me just crying for the last 6 months. Like, how are we going to survive? Because for a while it was a little slow here. But Jen's been very instrumental in getting this off the ground, as has Ty. A lot of us fight like brothers and sisters, but we always make up. And, we're all humans. So Jen obviously is going through a rough time, but we all go through rough times in life. It's not about I really believe it's not always about what you go through. It's about how do you react to things, So that's it. Ty, let's lighten it up. We love you, Jen and Jordan. Is a friend beyond friends. His heart impresses me at the times. Oh, thank you, Ty.
Sweet, Ty.
So that's the deal.
Julie wants to know if her membership went through.
Let's see. Let's see, Julie. You might be the lucky first. I think so. I think it did. Something went through. Something went through. I don't know if it's Julie, but some payment went through. So we'll let you know, Julie. We got your email. But anyway, as far as... so let's get it straight, Ty. Ty needs a new neck, and Jen's getting shock therapy, but Jordan is bitching about being lactose intolerant. Rab S27 for the win. That is the best comment I've ever seen. Hey, Rab S27. Guess who's been dealing with Ty and his neck problem? And God bless her, Jen and her treatment. I've been doing the job of 27 people at once. So if I am a little emotional about my lactose intolerance issue, can you let me have my issue too? So yes, but that is a very true and funny comment. And by the way, I know that it's your personal business, so you brought it up. But I know that people have a lot of stigma about shock therapy.
Jeremiah, he does.
I what?
Sound extra Jewish when you're complaining.
I do. I know people have a lot of stigma about shock therapy. It's not like a nothing thing to do, but it actually has become more mainstream over the last few years. So.
Yeah. So the place where I'm getting it done is the #1 on the East Coast, and there have been some really bad side effects. I couldn't remember the simplest things, and I'm getting another treatment tomorrow, so that'll be my 5th. And I had to be honest, like Jordan and I had several heart-to-hearts to decide if I was going to continue, because I need my brain to be a journalist. The only thing I've ever had going for me is I was smart, and then now I'm not smart, but hopefully it'll come back.
Yes, and it's from all the research, it's short-term memory loss. But what I like about what you're doing, and by the way, I just want to be clear, confirm, this was not me telling you to say this. You decided to. I don't want people to think.
No one thinks that.
Okay, I want people to be clear, like, this is her decision to talk about this. But I think why I kind of always wanted to create something like Status Quo, and why I'm happy you brought this up. I think too many people who work in media, independent media or otherwise, even when they say they're keeping it real, they're not exactly keeping it real, because everyone's so worried, like, oh my God, if I actually tell people what's going on in my some things should be left more personal.
Right.
But I'm a big proponent of just keeping it real, of people seeing like what we're dealing with, what, for example, when I came out of the woodwork, when I came back, I mean, everybody and their mother was like, don't bring it up, just move on. Right. And I was like, you can't not bring it up, So I'm a big proponent of keeping it real, and I think that's why the audience feels connected to Status Quo. In addition to the reporting, they just know like they're getting the real us,
Right.
and you'll always get that. So I'm here for you, and we'll keep going. So to lighten the mood, a little bit, Kirsten Gillibrand. To get back to that for a second,
We got 3 lifetime.
oh, we just got
Or
3 annual. Thank you to Darth Corey with the annual membership. Balthazar with the annual membership.
Gene Sheed.
Gene Sheed with the annual membership. So, Jen, your brain's working fine. You're the one that created the graphics and set that up today.
Well, the graphics are very poor, but they'll
and
be fixed.
abort you. Real people doing real journalism, which is why I'm a member. From your lips to if we have a God's ear. You always get the truth from us. So, nice grats. I would annual, but just had a pet hospital bill. Let me tell you something. There needs to be an investigation into these vets around the country. Because my mother just took our dog to the vet. And basically, to look in his ear was $600. I mean, I love veterinarians. I love animals. I'm a big dog person. I wish I could have a dog in my apartment, but they're getting away with murder. These people.
That's ridiculous.
Anyway, thank you. So the last thing I'll say about Kirsten Gillibrand, so we can finish a coherent point, is I don't. This isn't because she's Kirsten Gillibrand or a woman, but I think she's full of shit. Follow the money. Always follow the money. Her donor sheet is Wall Street, real estate, big pharma. She has been calling Wall Street executives because that is what multiple outlets are reporting, on top of Kamala Harris, who, by the way, didn't deny that she was calling Wall Street executives, and Cory Booker, who hasn't denied that he's been calling Wall Street executives. So when you look at, forget whether she's progressive or not, you have to look at these people running and ask yourself, what do they think they bring to the table that's different than anyone else? Because everything that she's signing on to and, talking about that she's signing on to, like Medicare for all and, not taking corporate PAC money and banning off lobbyists. Well, you're a little late to the party, Miss Gillibrand, just like you're a little late to the party, Mr. Booker, just like you're late to the party, Beto O'Rourke. I don't want somebody who came to the party, 10 years too late. I want the person who showed up at the dance, stood on the side, and did the right thing when everybody else was doing the wrong thing. Is there a person who's done that?
Bernard Sanders.
So I don't want you Johnny-come-lately progressives, okay? It's not because you're bad people. It's not because I, wish you death. But I don't trust you to do the right thing if elected, because the people who are going to follow through on what they claim are the people that propose progressive policies and swear off the corporate money when it's courageous to do so, not when it's convenient to do so. I'm talking to you, Beto. I'm talking to you, Cory Booker. I'm talking to you, Kirsten Gillibrand. I'm talking to you, Kamala?
I think it's Kamala.
Kamala Harris. And Joe Biden is all of a sudden a Johnny-come-lately progressive. Joe Biden.
No way.
Tara May, in the mood for tiramisu, $5 into Super Chat. Here in Illinois, J.B. Pritzker campaigned on legal weed. I'm calling his office tomorrow. Yeah, and J.B. Pritzker also bought an election, so you should call his office, and ask for some of that dough. But yes, J.B. Pritzker is a real piece of Pritzker, if you ask me, and a billionaire who bought an election. So, Angie, have you read Medical Medium? Lots of healthy ideas.
Oh, that was recommended to me.
Yes. Jana, do you think all these Dems running asked the Clintons for permission to run? No, I don't think so, because I don't think Hillary's running. But I do think they might be hitting up the Clintons to see if they could get into their donor network. Yeah. But if I was any of the Clinton donors, I wouldn't be taking calls from Hillary and Bill these days. That's just me, though. So they all going to meet with Clinton. I don't know about that, Kelly, to be honest with you, because what can the Clintons offer anymore? I mean, Hillary lost to Obama, which is respectable. Lost to an orange orangutan, which is not respectable. And, I mean, in fairness, I'm not a Hillary Clinton fan. She did win 3 million more votes than Donald Trump.
Okay.
She did.
Listen.
But she did.
No, hold on.
Oh,
not
boy.
Really.
Yes, really.
No, not really. Because the caucus votes are counted differently. And they lump all those together when they claim that figure.
Okay, but she won a lot more votes.
Of course, that's fine, but it really.
But this isn't a pro Hillary comment. This is a pro democracy.
I know.
Comment.
It
like
really drives
the
me
person
nuts.
who wins the most votes should win the election. I mean, it's not complicated.
Of course, 100%.
So,
but they also shouldn't claim votes that aren't real because they were caucus votes.
Right. Exactly. I agree. See, you're saying your brain doesn't work. Her brain's working fine. So, people are power. Oh, you triggered everybody. Now you admit. I try not to mention the Clintons too much because I don't want the audience to have high blood pressure, you know? So, Kirsten Gillibrand, I'm not impressed. Her interview on the Stephen Colbert show. And by the way, I mean, Colbert, can you go back to your character? I'm not saying you're.
Oh, yes,
I'm not
please.
saying you're terrible as like the real Stephen Colbert, but I am saying you were much better as Stephen Colbert. So, but she was on, and honestly, you actually said it to me, like she's stuttering, and it's like she's like falling over herself. She doesn't sound like just authentic.
No, not at all.
So,
terrible.
I'm not down with Kirsten Gillibrand's campaign. Call me sexist if you want. Obviously, I've already been called the new Grand Master of the KKK for having the audacity to post out and tweet out Kamala Harris's donor sheet, which Ty so wonderfully defended me in a glow-in-the-dark video that he did in his apartment. Did you see that video that Ty did with the lights out?
No.
Oh, yeah. He defended me in a glow-in-the-dark video.
Exhausted 11. What do you mean, Jen? You sound like Jen.
Jen, you just sound like Jen. She's saying you just sound you just sound like Jen. Boofire, I need to move to Canada. Hey, Canada, be careful with moving to Canada because Canada now is putting a damn unnecessary natural gas pipeline right through British Columbia in the most pristine water in all of Canada. If you didn't see that interview, I interviewed a Canadian land and water protector who's fighting the Coastal GasLink pipeline, thanks to Cheryl Simpson in our super chat, yelling at me and screaming at me that I never cover Canada. So I hope you enjoyed that. But Canada's great for most things, but this is the problem with neoliberalism, because Justin Trudeau in practice is not your friend. I mean, he loves fossil fuels. He loves basically oligarchy and all those things. But because Trump sounds so vile, everybody loves Justin Trudeau.
And they think Justin Trudeau's so cute because that's what matters.
Right. Well, I'd rather a disheveled, slightly wrinkled suit from Bernie Sanders than, a pinup calendar boy. Personally.
Well, I personally think Bernie is a pinup calendar boy, but...
Okay. Adam says, yep, Trudeau sucks. NDP hopefully going to make some strides. Exactly. So, Trudeau is the Canadian Macron. Oh, Macron. What a letdown that guy is. So neoliberalism is right now, in practice, all over this globe, while at the same time, progressive populist energy, not like the Trump fake populism, but real progressive energy is growing. I mean, Ty could tell you, he was just out at teacher strikes, and he went on day 3. Day 1 had, it looked like, a couple thousand people, maybe 10,000 people in Los Angeles. You're having a resurgence now, the Sunrise Movement and the climate movement in this country. Obviously, Black Lives Matter and protests against police brutality and economic oppression. There is a new uprising against the water poisoning in this country that we haven't seen. Fight for 15. I mean, I could go on and on. What?
All the girls agree with me.
Agree with you on what?
About Bernie being hot.
Right. So, let's keep progressivism sexy. And before Henry, he is a narcissist. Never happened. So let me tell you my final analysis on the 2020 field so far. I don't have an analysis because Bernie Sanders hasn't opened his run.
Right.
I think you're seeing such concerted efforts by the corporate media to basically make it seem like, oh, Bernie, he's lost his mojo, you see in some headlines, or he can't even get his old staffers to work with him. Or, obviously there was a problem in his campaign where a lot of women were sexually harassed, and Bernie actually, to his credit, today, Wednesday, is meeting with some of those women to hear their concerns, to hear specifics of what happened. He has very, very, very openly spoken about it and apologized. He was on CNN, openly apologized for anything inappropriate that happened in his campaign. To be clear, Bernie Sanders was not accused of doing anything wrong, but others in his campaign were accused of doing something wrong. So, bottom line, when Bernie announces, the corporate media could do whatever he wants, but the bottom line is, he is the most popular politician in America, and all you got to do, read the polls. I mean, this is in September. Favorability matters. 54% among independents. That is how you win a general election. You don't win a general election with how many people from the base do you bring out. That is important, but elections are won based on who wins independent voters.
Yeah.
He's at 78% among Democrats. He's at 64% among non-whites, and we've been told, you know, he can't make strides with black and brown people. And what I think is a very underrated category that is going to be key to him possibly becoming the nominee, he's got to get that 55 and older closer to 50%. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't at 45% in 2016, I could tell you that, because I was on the campaign trail. 55 and older, that was the Hillary Clinton crowd. And it's not to say there aren't progressives that are older. There are. A lot of them are watching us. But by and large, the establishment is not millennials. It's older folks. So Bernie is making strides with them who are starting to see, holy shit, I've been giving you all my money and you lost to this fucking used car salesman. So maybe there's another way. But the non-white number is very encouraging. And Bernie has made strides with people of color because he has showed up. It didn't get a lot of media attention, but Bernie was the first one going to Mississippi to cover the Nissan workers' strike. Bernie has been to Kentucky. Bernie has been to West Virginia since 2016. Bernie has been to Alabama since 2016. Bernie Sanders is making inroads with people of color, and I think you're going to see them respond. So far, I think it's a lot of smoke. I think it's a lot of pundits who are so devastatingly wrong about 2016. But in punditry, you don't get fired. You actually get elevated for being wrong. Especially about war. So if you're Bill Kristol, Max Boot, all these people, you're not shunned into a witness protection program. You're given a friggin' TV news gig. So he's going to kill it. As Kelly Elaine said, we at Status Quo would love to have the funds to cover his campaign. So that's why we're pushing so hard through membership, through GoFundMe, through Super Chat, through smoke signals, whatever you want to do. We want to be there to cover it because, frankly, I don't see a lot of independent media out there that's going to be covering Bernie's campaign or Tulsi's campaign or Warren's campaign. No. And you're not going to have a lot of independent media out there because, frankly, independent media doesn't have the funding. So it's up to you to choose which entity is worth funding. I think I've shown what I could do in the field in 2016 and beyond. I think Ty has shown. I think Jen has shown. And we'll put our tenacity, persistence, and authenticity up against anyone.
We want another Donna Brazil moment.
Oh, let me tell you something. If we get the funding to cover the 2020 campaign, GoFundMe, you will have a Donna Brazil moment. You might have 2 or 3. And more importantly, we're not going to just cover the horse race. No way, as Hank just said. We're going to go into these primary states and cover the local community stories that always get blown off. Yeah, Ty called me, Jordan, because he likes to call me while I'm live. Oh, Ty wants to get in on this? Hold on. He's got middle child syndrome.
I called you because I was having a moment and I wanted to be part of it.
Aw, hi, Ty.
I called it like 3 times.
My phone was on silent because I'm broadcasting. Join the moment.
You dirty MF. What's going on? I just, you guys are having a moment. I felt like I should have been part of that.
Oh, okay. Because I thought you were going to be like, you're saying too much, shut up. That's what you usually do.
Oh, no. I only say that when you say ignorant shit.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
You did say a couple ignorant things, but I'll keep that to myself.
What did I say that was ignorant? I thought I'd been good today.
Today? You thought you were good? No, what did you say that I'm like, Jesus Christ. Oh, the thing that I was saying, I'm like, the one thing, I'm like, you're going to tell people, we're not talking about death, and then the next breath, well, there's 2 people I want to kill, but I'm not like, shut up.
Well, I would kill Hitler, and he's already dead. Well, I think he's dead. I think that's fair. And
no, regardless if it's fair or not, don't make the statement if you got people to kill. Just say, I feel you, people I want to kill too.
Well, Ty, since you don't often think about business, here's part of why I said that. There's this entity called YouTube. You heard of them? And they're doing whatever the hell they can to censor and suppress independent progressive media. So I want to be, I want to be clear that the status quo does not endorse political killings and get kicked off YouTube.
That's what I'm saying. Pick a side. If you say that, then keep it at that. Don't then contradict it by saying or undermine it by, well, me and my cousin went down the street yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Just, dog, stay consistent.
Now let me ask you, dog. You are live right now with my phone up to the screen because
Jen,
somebody begged
how
me.
surprised Jen just got. She's like, "Who's Jordan's trying to talk black when he talks to his black guy?" Dog.
Yeah.
No, I was just being funny. It's not a race thing, but thanks. I'm asking because you said, "Hey, we got to get this Wirecast. We got to get this Wirecast."
You know you racist. You hate Kamala Harris.
No, I said Kamala Harris. Oh. No, but I remember you saying we need Wirecast, so we bought Wirecast, and Wirecast could bring you in visually.
We were just what's the naming, and I told you we straight. He was like, okay, we'll start next week.
So if we're straight, why aren't we using Wirecast right now?
Well, before you went live, I was out on the field. I know. This is the plantation of 1956.
Oh,
I get that. In the South, we're not a part of the freedmen. We actually became a part of the.
I don't remember any freedman going live on YouTube.
The Missouri Compromise.
I don't remember it.
You hate it.
I don't remember any freedman going live on YouTube to report,
I know
but
you voted against it. Jen is the one that had to push it forward. I know you didn't want that to happen.
I wasn't born during that time, but that's. This should be a sitcom, Colin Tooley said. Hey, by the way, I was very impressed with Colin's sister, Amanda.
Hey, Colin's sister,
she's
man,
great.
and she's so sweet. She's like very knowledgeable, and I haven't seen Colin in real life, but he seems like a tall guy. I've seen him like on a video. She's so short.
No, have I? Yeah, I met Colin. He's normal size.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, he's like he's not tall, but he's not short.
Are you
Colin, how
normal size,
tall are you?
Jordan, are you normal size?
I'm 5'6.5". I would say that's normal.
Sure. No, you sure.
I got this height of a tiger. Colin said she is short. But Ty, I want to ask you.
She's amazing, and she helped me out a lot.
Oh,
like,
Colin's 5'9". Holy shit! I didn't know that.
Yeah, I told you he looked tall.
Yeah, interesting.
He ain't taller than me though, but go ahead.
Ty, I'd like to ask you, since we have you on, 140 people watching, 203 likes. You're almost done with the documentary. What's it looking like? Because I watched with my parents, and besides them not liking the curse words because they're old-fashioned, they were very, very, very,
your
very
parents
taken.
Never like cuss words. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, it's a Jewish thing.
It's a Jewish thing, but I didn't bring that up. Yeah, no. So Jen, did you get a chance to watch it or not?
No, I have not.
Okay. I am excited about it myself, but I'm glad you're excited about it because I'm watching. I mean, I'm doing it, so I'm coming up with these ideas, and I'm thinking whatever. But I'm thinking that way because everybody, you feel that way about your shit. So it's good to hear you. I was like, I'm gonna be disappointed. Like he gonna have like 50, 11 notes, and you actually really liked it. And I'm glad you liked where it was going. I mean, we have some tweaks, but I'm excited for people to see. Like I said today when I was talking, I was like, oh, we should put money aside. Like I think this will be good for film festivals. It'll get more exposure and things like that, and it can do a lot for not just people. I guess for people seeing it, because the more people see it, the more people are aware of it. It all plays good. But I think for what we've done, because we were interviewing people to find things out. We wasn't like spending a day with the person to see, how this person is living and things like that, and kind of get their day-to-day, like what they do day-to-day, and kind of see the effects of it. But for what we got, and being able to broaden it way more than you just seeing these talking heads talk about, the water testing. To me, it's very intriguing, and I sat here and watched it. The clip that I sent you, I sat and watched it 2 different times with 2 different people, and I got some good notes. And I think it's going to be good. And I think I mean, I think it's, to me, I think people will enjoy it. I think they'll really enjoy the information. And I had a friend that saw it that didn't have any information about it and was like, man, I like see how it works. Like, even because I know you're like the information guy, you want people to get it. and then I'm the people. I want people to get it while being entertained. You know what I'm saying?
I think you want them to get it and feel it.
And feel it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Being entertained is feeling it, like going through this process with the characters. That's how you know a person is being entertained, how they're buying into the characters, how they're feeling what the characters are feeling. Because even if your water hasn't been tested, there's still been another way that you've been manipulated, that you've been lied to, and through that funnel you can connect with these characters that seemingly has just been told whatever whatever the MDEQ or core wanted to tell them. They didn't know what questions to ask. They were manipulated.
Right.
They were taken advantage of, because of their lack of knowledge. And that lack of knowledge could be for anyone that isn't as diligent as some other people would be after they realize that they've gotten poisoned. I mean, even the most diligent were compromised. You know what I'm saying? And the person that didn't know anything about it, like, I really, that was one of the notes. I'm like, okay, he gets it, getting how things work. I think there's a couple of things we need to, like, the acronyms. I don't want people to just know it. When they hear MDEQ, I want them to know what that is. Like, out the gate, we talked about some of that. Just giving those definitions out the gate, so then moving forward, we don't want to introduce a definition to a word that we heard 30 times and like, goddamn, what does that mean?
Right. Well, I think a few things before I answer that. I just want to point out a lot of people in the live chat are complimenting you on your reporting from earlier. So we got to get you back out there. A lot of people liked your questions.
That reporting was complimented by research and I didn't sleep well, but I wasn't tired like I normally am, so I didn't sleep at all last night, honestly. But I didn't, when I'm not tired and I've done the research, I can give it to you.
Hey Ty, I just want to point something out. When we're on the road together and I always snap at you because I'm looking at my computer doing something and you're always yapping in my ear, that's called research. That's what I'm doing. So now when I get a little spiteful at you because I'm trying to focus here and you're yapping in my ear, I'm researching.
Sometimes I like to talk. I get lonely.
Aww.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but people...
Take time. If I got, especially now that I got to be in those, because we can't afford 2 rooms, I got to be in a room with you. You gotta, I'm like, you're my better half when we're on the road. You need to make time for me, or I'm going to leave you. Right.
Aww.
So, so people were complimenting you. But the thing I really like about the documentary, and I'm sorry to the people, we're talking about something you haven't seen yet, but when I take a step back and don't focus on the fact that it's me doing the interviews and Jen doing the interviews, and I just watch it like it's not us, it really is going to show people the power of like actual door-to-door old school journalism still has. Because there really is, like, I'm not saying this arrogantly, I don't really know any other outlet that did what we did or does what we did.
And I think you're right. It shows the value. Like, you got to understand, you guys didn't, and, they'll get it, but you didn't get the Sentinel list until you had already been there 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or whatever. So you think about how much information you got to damn, I need that, to try to really get that list. And luckily, we got the list. But no, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And it was meant to be like stars lined up, dog. There's no way you guys are about to leave and all of a sudden you have this random conversation with someone and he brings up this thing about them telling me to run the water just came out. They didn't, it was just like one of those things that needed to come out. And whatever's going to happen will happen with this and supposed to happen. Like you didn't look for this. You know what I'm saying? You didn't go looking for this. This came to you.
No, but actually that's not exactly true. Because, not going to get into, the details, but, in my past life at the Young Turks, there was a lot, there was some folks there that were kind of getting tired of me going to Flint. Because, why you got to go to Flint?
That's not what I'm saying.
No, but I'm about to make a point. So, I wanted to...
You must be about to make something.
Well,
please, everybody, be quiet and listen.
My point is, I wanted to keep going back to Flint. We would have never gotten this story if I hadn't gone to Flint that many times and built up the sources I had built. Because that's how just through a conversation with two residents that I was having that conversation because somebody I had built a relationship with in Flint put me in touch with these. Like, people in Flint aren't trustworthy of reporters. So the fact that I was able to build sources with you at the Young Turks, we were able to stumble upon this information that I didn't even know was a big deal at first until I was like, oh, they're not supposed to be running the water like this. But I really think what's also hopefully is going to be the outcome of this. I really think this documentary, if done the right way and released, it might force some action by politicians. Because I think when people see this, there's a big chance that this is going to really explode. Because it's I don't want to get my hopes up, but I really think, I mean, my parents were watching it saying, like, how is it that no one's doing something about this? And these are two people who watch Fox News. So I think it's very possible that if we get this in front of audiences.
Exactly. And I think that black girl does a lot. If people don't really understand, but a lot of people that understand, and that's why I bring this up a lot when you were talking about the black girl that's kind of like a through line for the most part of it that she introduced them, them taking the water bottle. She introduced like the sores, like through her conversation, we see all those different things from the other people. But toward the end, right before the kids come, when she says, I called 211 to get water. She says, I was so desperate. Like, when I'm exhausted and I'm editing and I hear that, I'm getting choked up right now. She said, I got so desperate, I was even willing to call CPS on myself. CPS only comes to take your children. She was so desperate for her kids to have clean water. She was willing to call CPS on herself just to save her. Only a mother is the only one that would do everything to keep her kids and will do everything to keep her kids healthy. Even if it means sacrificing the relationship.
Right.
By calling CPS on herself, dog. Like, that's deep.
So that
shows the desperation. It's almost like being in Flint, especially when you're poor, it's like being in jail. You think about having handcuffs on you, having to ask to go to the head, having to ask to do anything, being just stuck in a position where you can't move.
You remember?
Like, it's just jail.
The great Reid from Shawshank Redemption. 40 years, they asking him if I got to piss. I never had any say so. Remember that quote from Shawshank?
I haven't seen it as many times as you have, but I know what you're talking about.
Well, I think the bottom line, people should know that it takes a long time for normal documentaries to be produced, directed, and distributed. So Ty's doing this very, very quickly, but also well. So we're going to try to get this out as soon as we can.
Yeah, I think I don't think it's false hope. I think at the rate that I'm going, and even with the sound, like I told you, I went to see that documentary. That documentary really inspired me to I mean, our sound is good, but our sound seems like it was done by me, not like that. I don't think I'm probably that good. But just once we get everything, I think by February that we'll be in the game, like for real. I'm talking with the credits and everything, as long as you send me all that information, like February 1st. But I also think that
deadlines with you are always flexible.
You are amazing. That's funny. If I wasn't so tired, I would be laughing. That's actually really funny. That's funny. But that's funny. I think what'll be good, and this is like some behind the scenes shit right here, but if we did like a screening, like I said, if that's possible, and then put it on the shelf as we put it into, because the bigger film festivals, they don't want it shown. It can't be screened anywhere. They like to be like, this is the debut. You know what I'm saying? And I really think that it can get into some stuff.
Right. Well, We got it in the hands of somebody you and I know to see if we could get it to Netflix. But I'm also definitely open to film festivals. So we'll see. All right. Tell people they'll see you again when? Friday?
Yeah, you'll see me again on Friday. I'm gonna meet up with Colin's sister again. She's the woman. I think she, got a lot of obviously teachers as her friends, and we can get a lot of interviews in and talk to some people about. Hopefully, they're at the end this week. I mean, I hate the fact, especially when I don't make sure that you put that information for their GoFundMe as well in this thing. Because it's unfortunate. I didn't even think about I know that they wasn't getting... how sometimes something's going on, but you're not really thinking about, okay, they're not getting paid right now. Mm-hmm.
Hey, Zachary Kirkpatrick says he could subtitle the doc in Spanish. Let me know.
Yeah, Zachary, right? Email.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah, right, Jen.
Yeah, you got our email, Zachary. Definitely, that would be great. Can take it to France, Jordan. Wow, we have a lot of global entrepreneurs here.
Hey, no, that's real. If you got any cans, I don't know, y'all call it can, right? Cans, hookups or something, or even just like regular, I think getting out there and people seeing it, like they probably think it's over as well in France. Obviously, they only follow the big news, and they haven't been talking about the water here in America in the past, half a year. So if we can get it to other film festivals internationally, I think that'll be amazing. And there's some that you can point out. There's a website that I go to. It's called Without a Box. That's the one I was trying to. The name of the website is called Without a Box. It has the majority of all the film festivals that go on. A lot of them are small, a lot of them are big. But if he knows some nice ones that we can get into, probably that's in France, absolutely we should.
And Michael bringing us from Germany, he could do for
Germany. Yeah, Germany would definitely get it. They love shit from LA, and they love independent things. They have a huge art scene and independent scene. And what part of Germany is he in?
Just Not Jews. I don't know.
Just Not Jews? That's what it's called?
No, I was joking. Just Not Jews.
Oh, you stupid. Don't do that.
Yeah. All right, cool. So you'll be live Friday, and we'll, if you'd say February 1st, it will be done. It will be done May 16th.
The 5th. Yeah. The 5th. See, that's racist right there. He talking about black people time, y'all. He talking about colored people time.
Oh, speaking of, you brought up Friday. Hopefully you can get some of the black and Latino teachers, too, which is a big part of it.
I would. I tried to get some today. I would. So they'll all be, so what you saw on Monday and Tuesday, you'll see on Friday.
Right. And Kimberly said, are you going to have copies for purchase so we could do private group viewings?
Yeah. So this is what I wanted to do. So she almost sounded like she's familiar with Brave New Films. That's what we used to do at Brave New Films. They would do that, and so they can have private screenings. Now that's something that we should talk about. Yeah, I think that'll be good, like for schools and things like that. Or if you want to have a private screening,
First of all, if we're going to do a screening, maybe this is just my passion talking, but I want it to first be seen by the people of Flint.
Yes.
No, I think it should be seen by the people of Flint. What I'm talking about was the online screening where everyone gets the password. No, I think you're absolutely right. It should be seen by the people of Flint. But you can have an online screening where it's password protected. Everyone gets the password. We all watch it collectively, just the same. It's in the same vein that what we do every day. It's the platform, right. And then everyone watches it and they see it together. And then, we take it down and start to put it in film festivals and things like that. And then we can
try. Hey, Ty, love you, buddy. But for real, let's troubleshoot tomorrow or Friday so we could have you on screen because my arm hurts holding the phone up.
All right. Oh, I thought you were... Okay. Just kidding. All right, Panther. I love y'all. Love you, Jen.
Love you.
All right.
I think if we get some status quo neon hats, the old school. What was the workout guy name?
Oh,
with the red afro.
The hell was his name? I did his obituary. Richard Simmons? No.
Richard Simmons dead?
He's not dead.
No,
He's not.
No, he was. News stations do
Yeah, you
obituaries.
told me about that. You did his obituary for Fox.
Yeah. No, sorry, I did Jack
no,
LaLanne, not
yeah.
Richard Simmons. I did Jack LaLanne.
Okay, no, yeah, Richard Simmons. If we can get status cool, the old school tank tops he used to wear.
Okay.
That says status cool on it.
All right. I was thinking something more rough and tumble, but you know.
You know what you should do? You should look at all the status quo options I have on the feed.
All the options?
I think it's amazing. Options.
Okay. So everybody who just suggested they could translate for us, you know the email Jordan@protonmail.com. That's email Jordan@protonmail.com.
But and just also, I want to let you know, I want you guys to make sure that, well, and I'm not saying this to say that you guys are not, but just understand what you're committing to, because it's a lot, you know. And there may be some back and forth where we're like, okay, well, this needs to be redone because it has to be, you know what I'm saying? So just make sure that you can commit to, because translating subtitles, we used to have to outsource it when I worked for companies that could afford to do it, just because it's such a taxing job.
Let me tell you something. When they see this documentary, it's going to be easy, because they're going to be transcended and passionate.
Talk that shit, Jordan.
That's right. All right, speaking of shit, I do have to go do that. So, thank you.
Christ. See, that's what I'm talking like. That ain't even appealing. That ain't even funny. That's not even a punchline.
No, actually, I bet you people will appreciate it.
Like, oh, that was clever.
People will appreciate it.
That ain't clever.
No, it's not clever, but it's true. Thankfully, actually, since I started taking this
You know how you said everything you've been through? Like, I think we've driven you to be like tough and tolerant. You know your body can just flip on you, right?
No, I know exactly
if
what
if I'm stressing you out, then you get stressed out by everything, and then you go into business.
Well, you know what? I got to tell you the truth. Real talk, and I don't want to get into a whole long discussion. After my situation, that's where all my gray hairs came from in my beard. I never had a gray hair in my beard until that situation. Then my back went out, and now I'm lactose intolerant, so who the hell knows? Who knows?
Your back went out what?
February.
Your back went out before February?
Well, my back was like hurting me, but it went out in February. Yeah.
It went out in February.
While they're talking about poop, don't forget to go to statusquo.com/join and join as an annual member.
Hey, on the topic of poop, status. What was the thing? It smells like coos. That sounds like it smells like poo. Like you should. I like it. I think it's clever. It smells like coo, but it sounds too much like pee.
Victoria says Jordan can't tolerate white milk, rice, or saltines anymore either. That's true. That's true. Is there a different kind of milk than white milk?
Jordan is white milk.
That's true.
No, they got chocolate milk.
That's true. All right. Before we bore the people, thank you for watching this 2
They
hour.
got Cambodian.
Okay. This is off the rails. All right, folks. Remember, I'll be back tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern. Ty will be.
Anybody that's seen the Dave Chappelle thing, they know exactly what I'm talking about when he did the P Diddy making a band.
Jordan needs extracts to deal with the pain. A hit of shatter will have you forgetting a lot. Cambodian breast milk, why not? Yeah. So I actually had breast milk at age 21, but that's a whole nother story. We'll talk about that another time. It was in the natural food store. I'll be back tomorrow. Remember, most people are not lacking compassion in this country. Most people have no fucking idea what's going on. Statusquo.com/join. Statusquo.com/join. Look up annual lifetime membership. Thanks for watching. Peace out, everybody.
Peace out.